At the southernmost edge of the planet, where ocean and ice merge into one, the cold does not merely freeze the surface, it tests the very limits of life. Here, even breath turns to ice, and the sun is but a fleeting visitor through the year. Amid the vast expanse of white snow, hidden deep beneath waters black as jade, a silent army moves. No claws, no fangs, only intelligence, unity, and strategy, the most dangerous weapons of the ocean. They are the Antarctic orcas, rulers of the world's coldest seas, not through brute muscle, but through thought and flawless coordination, like an elite military unit. This is the story of silent sovereigns, warriors of the frigid waters, and the mysterious civilization beneath the deep ice. Welcome to this animal documentary, Antarctic Orcas, Masters of the Frozen Seas. Beneath the dense Antarctic ice, where sunlight filters through only as faint green streaks, a vibrant world of sound unfolds. Low moans, sharp whistles, relentless clicks, these are the language of orcas, the master predators of the frozen ocean. They are not solitary hunters, they are complex families, tribes with their own cultures, forged across thousands of generations in the planet's harshest environment. Today, we enter the world of Antarctic orcas, where survival hinges on perfect coordination, collective intelligence, and hunting tactics so sophisticated they astonish humans. A pod, a family of orcas, is moving through open waters. This pod may consist of 5 to 20 individuals, but the relationships among them are more intricate than any land-based family. At the center is the eldest female, the matriarch, an aged mother with decades of experience. She guides the pod through perilous waters, teaching her offspring and grandchildren how to read ocean currents, how to detect prey from afar. Her children remain with the pod for life, maintaining acoustic ties to their original family. This is no random group. It is a lineage, with a matrilineal system that can span 4 generations living together. Communication is the key to this bond. Each pod has its own dialect, a unique set of sounds understood only by its members. Complex whistles, low moans like a cello, clicks akin to sonar, all form an underwater symphony. When a calf emits its first call, it is no random cry. It mimics its mother, its grandmother, and the entire pod. Over years, the calf learns to modulate pitch, to add inflection, eventually developing its own voice while still belonging to the family chorus. Scientists have recorded thousands of hours of sound and discovered that even pods living just a few hundred miles apart have markedly different languages, much like English and German in the human world. But communication is not just for maintaining relationships. It is a weapon in the hunt. A pod spots a migrating group of humpback whales. Instead of charging in immediately, they orchestrate a true military campaign.
In the Antarctic summer, when melting ice forms narrow channels, the pod shifts to hunting seals. The wave attack tactic is deployed. Every individual in the pod knows its exact position. Which one generates the wave, which blocks escape routes, which delivers the killing blow. This coordination demands profound understanding of currents, body weight, and timing, precise to the second. A single mistake, a wave not strong enough, or a seal landing in the wrong spot could leave the entire pod hungry for weeks. There are 4 main populations of Antarctic orcas, each a unique tale of adaptation and culture. Let's start with Type A, the open ocean dominators. These are the largest orcas, with males reaching up to 30 feet in length and weighing 6 tons. Their territory is the open waters far from shore, where they hunt massive prey, minke whales, and sometimes young humpbacks. Their favorite tactic is divide and conquer. A small group separates a calf from its mother, while the main group relentlessly harasses the adult. The hunt can last hours, with orcas rotating attacks, resting, then striking again. They know each species' exact weaknesses. For gray whales, they target the tail flukes to slow them. For elephant seals, they strike the gills to induce suffocation. In contrast, Type B, pack ice hunters, are smaller than Type A, but possess the most sophisticated hunting techniques. The wave attack we just mentioned is their invention. But they go further. Sometimes, they deliberately generate waves large enough to flip entire ice floes, hurling seals into the water. To achieve this, they must precisely calculate the flow's weight, current speed, and prey position. Researchers once filmed a pack ice hunter pod executing 17 consecutive wave attacks before succeeding. Astonishing persistence. Their primary food is Weddell and crab-eater seals, species that specialize in living on ice. Thanks to this unique technique, pack ice hunters can hunt even in the harshest winter, when other groups must migrate farther to find open water. Type C, fish specialists, are perfectly adapted to dense pack ice seas. They are the smallest group, with males only about 20 to 23 feet long, and they specialize in Antarctic toothfish, making up 90% of their diet. Unlike others, Type C operates in narrow, ice-covered channels where movement is already challenging, let alone hunting. Their technique is pack hunting. The entire pod forms a living net, swimming in a V formation to herd fish into the center. They use sonar not just to detect fish, but to communicate exact positions to one another. Each knows the precise distance to the nearest fish and the nearest pod member. When the moment strikes, they open their mouths simultaneously, creating a massive suction current that pulls hundreds of fish into their throats in one go. This demands absolute synchronization in time and space, like a soccer team executing a perfect one-touch play. Finally, Type D, deep water enigmas, the most mysterious of the Antarctic Ocean. They are rarely seen, living in deep waters far offshore, with distinctly different morphology. Rounder heads, smaller dorsal fins, and eye patches so tiny they're almost invisible. Their calls are utterly unique, high-pitched, drawn-out whistles almost like birdsong, rather than whale vocalizations. Scientists have recorded only a few short segments, but enough to recognize this as a completely separate language. Their diet remains a mystery. But it's suspected they hunt giant squid and deep-water fish. Some DNA samples suggest this type split from the others hundreds of thousands of years ago, evolving into a distinct branch with unique hunting culture. The most miraculous aspect of all four types is how they transmit hunting techniques, a phenomenon known as cultural transmission in animal studies. Calves are not born knowing how to hunt. They learn from mothers, grandmothers, and the pod. A calf's first participation in a wave attack. Initially, it only observes from afar, learning to adjust swimming speed, to breathe for endurance. On the second try, it may swim on the outer edge, creating small waves. Only after months, multiple hunting seasons, does it join the tactical corps. This process can take 5 to 7 years, equivalent to a human child attending university. But culture is more than technique. It is tradition. Each pod has its own habits. One prefers hunting at dawn, another only when the tide rises. Some specialize in minke whales, while others steadfastly avoid them. These differences are not genetic. They are products of social learning. When a matriarch dies, her knowledge endures, passed to descendants through thousands of shared practices. This is why conserving Antarctic orcas is not just about protecting individuals, but safeguarding an entire culture on the brink of extinction. King penguins, the mainstay on the orca menu, bring a wholly different lifestyle, defense system, and hunting puzzle. In this frozen world, penguins are not just food, they are harsh teachers, catalysts for hunting innovation, proof that even the smallest species can shape the tactics of the ocean's greatest predator. And today, we follow these master hunters to discover how they turn diligent divers into a feast for survival amid ice and waves. Let's begin with king penguins, the true princes of the sub-Antarctic. They stand nearly 3 feet tall, weigh up to 35 pounds, and breed on ice-free peninsulas with year-round access to open water. From April, as winter approaches, thousands gather on coastal rocky beaches, forming colossal colonies, sometimes up to 100,000 strong, huddling in living blocks to protect eggs and chicks. Each stands motionless for hours, turning into the wind to share warmth, forming a pulsating mass like a giant breathing organism. Their echoing calls resound through the snow-laden winds, an ancient chorus reminding us that life persists even in the harshest conditions. But orcas do not hunt adults. They wait for the fledgling's first departure from the nest, usually in spring or summer when open water expands. At this time, the young princes gather in large groups at the water's edge, learning to swim, dive, and survive in the ocean. An orca pod approaches from afar, lying motionless underwater, only dorsal fins breaking the surface like silent black shadows observing. They read the fledgling's swimming rhythm. Chaotic means unprepared. Straight lines indicate basic skills. Diving in large groups simultaneously signals attack. The penguin wave tactic is executed with astonishing precision. One king penguin fledgling provides about 25,000 kilocalories, enough to sustain a young orca for several days, enough for the matriarch to rest and teach the next generation. One adult king penguin provides about 30,000 kilocalories, not much compared to large prey, but sufficient to maintain energy for long hunts between major feasts. Sub-Antarctic winter, June to September, sea ice expands, but king penguins still concentrate in open waters near peninsulas. Fledglings are the primary target, with high density in narrow channels. Orcas expend 800 to 1,000 kilocalories per minute generating penguin waves, but success rates reach 80%. Fledglings are unskilled at swimming and diving, easily thrown into chaos. They spend 3 to 4 hours observing penguin groups before striking, reading water movements, predicting wind direction, calculating ice flow or rocky shore positions. Injury risk is low, under 5%, since penguins lack powerful weapons. Summer, December to March. Sea ice retreats, leaving vast open waters. King penguins remain a year-round target, but density disperses to just one bird per 2 to 4 square miles of water. Orcas expend less energy, 500 to 600 kilocalories per minute blocking paths or striking individually, but success drops to 60%. They have only 10 to 15 minutes to detect travel routes, 5 to 10 minutes to encircle, and 20 to 30 seconds to finish the kill. Injury risk rises to 12%, mainly from sharp penguin beaks capable of deep wounds. This shift is not merely tactical, it reshapes the entire social structure. In winter, orca pods operate like an army, clear divisions of labor, iron discipline, every move executed on the matriarch's signal. In summer, they switch to special forces, flexible, creative, accepting higher risks for steady rewards. Calves learn to toggle between these styles, winter patience to summer decisiveness, collective strength to individual independence. As sea ice has declined 12% in area over the past decade due to climate change, open waters near peninsulas expand earlier. and king penguin fledglings leave the nest 2 to 3 weeks sooner. Result: orcas must shift from near shore to open water hunting earlier, expending 15 to 20% more energy. Some pods have developed a new leap hunting technique, generating continuous small waves to make penguins jump onto drifting ice floes or rocky shores, then waiting below with open mouths. Others learn route following, swimming parallel to penguins' daily migration paths, conserving energy by riding currents. But penguins are adapting too. King penguin fledglings learn to swim farther from colonies, avoiding shallow waters where orcas wait. They shift activity times, leaving shore at dawn or dusk to disrupt predator schedules. They begin swimming in small groups of 3 to 5, forming defensive formations, one on surface lookout, others diving deep for food. Some groups even learn reverse decoy tactics, feigning a rush at bait, then suddenly diving 1,000 feet deep, leaving orcas with empty mouths. This evolutionary arms race never ceases. DNA studies show open water hunter orcas evolving genes for 10 to 15% deeper diving than previous generations. Meanwhile, king penguins are evolving shorter, harder beaks to resist orca suction. This is not just a survival race. It is a biological dialogue spanning thousands of years between predator and prey. In the frozen world where ice and sea blend into one, orcas have no true enemies. But amid the frozen waters, there is another rival, silent, agile, and a master cold-blooded hunter in its own right. That is the leopard seal. Both species share the same treasure, herds of seal pups, penguins, and small fish along the ice edge. When hunting season arrives, the line between hunter and poacher grows thin. Leopard seals, Hydrurga leptonyx, are the sole species in their genus, reaching up to 11 feet in length and weighing 1,100 pounds, with spotted skin and a streamlined body like a living arrow. They do not live in pods. Each is its own empire, controlling territories spanning dozens of square miles along the ice edge. Their teeth are an evolutionary masterpiece: 3 dagger-like upper canines for tearing flesh, 2 lower comb-like rows for filtering krill when needed, and sharp incisors for crushing penguin bones. They dive to 1,600 feet, hold breath for 15 minutes, and sprint up to 25 miles per hour in short bursts, enough to overtake any underwater prey. But leopard seals are not just predators. They are ambush artists. They lie motionless beneath Weddell seal breathing holes, waiting for steady steam every 90 seconds. When prey surfaces, they explode upward like a steel spring, a precise neck bite, then violent head shaking to snap the spine. For Adelie penguins, they hide under small ice floes, waiting for birds to plunge like rain. When one strays, the seal surges from below, biting the soft belly and dragging it to the depths in an instant. No sound, no warning, only lightning death. Orcas, by contrast, are collective strategists. They hunt in pods, using sonar to map terrain, whistles to assign roles,
and body mass to generate waves that knock prey off ice. A 10-member pod can take 20 penguins in 45 seconds or flip an ice floe to hunt Weddell seals. But this very sophistication, no matter how refined, creates underwater vibrations, signaling to leopard seals that territory is being invaded. The intersection of strategies is food. Both target seal pups in November-December, when they leave mothers and learn to swim in shallows. Both hunt Adelie penguins along summer migration highways. Both filter Antarctic toothfish under thick winter ice. In a place where each prey yields only a few thousand calories, this overlap is no coincidence. It is ecological conflict. A 1,000-square-foot ice floe, where 50 Adelie penguin fledglings practice jumping. An orca pod approaches from open water, preparing a penguin wave. But before they can strike, a leopard seal has lain beneath the ice for 3 hours. As orcas accelerate, vibrations spread. The seal detects it instantly. It surges upward, killing 3. No, it does not attack the orcas. Instead, it strikes the penguin flock first, taking 5 and 10 seconds, then vanishing into deep water. Orcas arrive 1 second late. Only blood streaks on ice, and panicked fledgling cries remain. This is not war, it is poaching. Researchers with underwater cameras recorded, in 100 Adelie penguin hunts, 35% were stolen by leopard seals before orcas could act. Conversely, in 50 Weddell seal ice hunts, 28% saw orcas knock seals into water, only for leopard seals waiting below to claim the carcass before the pod could share. No blood spilled, no roars, just subtle shifts in the ecological balance. When leopard seals dominate high-density penguin areas, usually shallow channels near peninsulas, orca pods must travel 66 to 98 feet farther for prey. A pod burns massive daily calories just moving, equivalent to many penguins. If a leopard seal controls prime hunting grounds for a week, the orca pod may lose a large energy reserve, forcing a switch to toothfish, lower-calorie food. Conversely, when orca pods hunt heavily at ice edges, using wave attacks, they shatter ice, destroying leopard seal hunting grounds. A flipped floe may take 2 to 3 days to stabilize, during which the seal loses ambush holes and cover. A nursing female leopard seal needs several pounds of food daily. Losing territory for 5 days risks abandoning pups or starvation. This is competition between 2 apex predators in the same trophic level, but different scales. Orcas dominate open ocean. They operate in deep, typically 300 to 1,600 feet, and shallow coastal waters for hunting. A pod can take 100 prey in a day, but needs vast space to maneuver. Leopard seals control ice packs and shallow channels. They operate at very shallow depths, usually 30 to 160 feet or less. One individual takes 10 to 15 prey daily, but only within 2 square miles. The fragile balance between them prevents the Antarctic ecosystem from tipping. If leopard seals vanished, orcas would overhunt penguins and seal pups, collapsing populations. If orcas disappeared, leopard seals would increase but lack capacity to control toothfish, leading to fish booms, krill depletion, and ultimately penguin impacts.
Climate change is tilting the scale. Sea ice has shrunk significantly in area over the past decade, shrinking ice edge territory, leopard seal domain, dramatically. Seals are forced into open water, encountering orcapods more often. Conflicts have risen 40% per satellite data. Some young leopard seals are killed, not for food, but to eliminate rivals. Conversely, orcas lose wave attack tactics on thinning ice, forced into open water hunting, where leopard seals hold speed advantages. Some pods have downsized from 15 to 8 members for greater flexibility. Beneath the Antarctic ice, where sunlight filters only as faint, ethereal green streaks through layers of ice several feet thick. Every seal breath, every penguin dive, every orca sonar click is part of an intricate web of ecological balance, where life depends on the harmony of all. The food chain here is not a simple straight line. It is a complex circle, forged over millions of years in the planet's harshest environment. In Antarctica, the food chain begins with tiny yet resilient producers, ice algae and phytoplankton. Organisms that absorb energy from the feeble sun to fuel the entire ecosystem. These provide energy for primary consumers, such as Antarctic krill, the tiny crustaceans so numerous they tint the ocean red, along with Antarctic toothfish and other zooplankton. Next comes secondary consumers, including Adelie penguins, crab-eater seals, and smaller fish. They eat krill and toothfish, transferring energy upward. At the top of the chain are tertiary and apex consumers, like orcas, up to 30 feet long, weighing 6 tons, leopard seals, 11 feet long, weighing 1,100 pounds, and humpback whales. These control populations below, ensuring no species becomes overly abundant. Finally, decomposers, marine bacteria, fungi, and sea worms break down carcasses and waste, returning nutrients to currents, completing the ecological cycle. This web is not just a simple food chain, but a complex system where every species interdepends to maintain balance in the frozen ocean. Antarctica is home to over 10,000 species, each playing a specific role. Antarctic krill, Euphausia superba, is the ecosystem's foundation, with a total biomass in the hundreds of millions of tons, one of Earth's largest single-species biomasses. They eat ice algae, controlling phytoplankton growth, and serve as primary food for 90% of marine animals here. Weddell seals, weighing 880 to 1,320 pounds, eat toothfish and squid, while crab-eater seals, the most numerous, estimated in the tens of millions, specialize in filtering krill with comb-like teeth. Apex predators like orcas and leopard seals are key to ecological balance. Orcas hunt seal pups, penguins, and large fish, controlling populations to prevent booms. Leopard seals hunt penguins and seal pups, competing directly with orcas, but on a smaller scale. Humpback whales, up to 52 feet long, eat krill and small fish, regulating krill without depleting others' food. Krill is the main food for many, from penguins to whales. A mature krill swarm provides abundant energy, enough for humpbacks to fast during migration. Their swarming, with densities blocking sunlight, boosts survival against predators. Yet they remain vulnerable when gathering near ice, where orcas and leopard seals lurk. Orcas help control penguin and seal pup populations, preventing ecological overload. They also compete with leopard seals, sometimes attacking smaller ones or stealing prey. In rare confrontations, orcas have the advantage through pod hunting and collective strength, but larger leopard seals can prevail with speed and ambush. Leopard seals regulate Adelie penguin and crab-eater seal populations, ensuring secondary consumers do not overpopulate. They rival orcas at ice edges, creating fierce food chain competition. Their presence makes penguins more cautious when entering water. Beyond krill, orcas, and leopard seals, many others are vital. Adelie penguins, with over 5 million breeding pairs, eat krill and toothfish, controlling zooplankton. Antarctic toothfish, up to 6 feet long, eat krill and zooplankton, balancing deep-sea ecosystems. Seabirds like Antarctic petrels target small fish and krill, while giant squid eat toothfish, acting as ocean cleaners. Apex predators, orcas, leopard seals, humpbacks, are crucial for balance. By hunting primary and secondary consumers, they prevent krill, penguin, and seal booms. Without them, krill could devour ice algae, degrading the marine ecosystem and impacting the entire chain. Competition between orcas and leopard seals also maintains balance. When one overpopulates, competition intensifies, naturally adjusting both numbers. For example, if leopard seals boom, they reduce penguins, pressuring orca food, forcing both to adapt hunting. Decomposers like marine bacteria, fungi, and seaworms are indispensable links. They break down carcasses and waste, returning nutrients to currents. For instance, when orcas or leopard seals leave prey remains, bacteria and worms clean up, preventing disease. Ice bacteria decompose dead krill, nourishing algae, completing the cycle. Antarctic ecological balance relies on cascade effects. Breaking one link impacts all. For example, if krill plummets due to warming waters, penguins and humpbacks starve, reducing their numbers. This could spike toothfish, depleting zooplankton and disrupting the marine ecosystem. In Antarctic scientists' culture, the food chain is a sacred circle of life. Krill symbolizes small yet mighty, orcas' collective intelligence, leopard seals' fierce solitude. Researchers share interaction stories, stressing nature respect for balance. Some scientific tales portray orcas and leopard seals as opposing spirits, embodying food chain rivalry. These are not just research legacy, but reminders of Antarctic ecosystem fragility. Scientists study the Antarctic food chain to understand interactions. Studies show one species' decline, like krill, triggers domino effects on penguins, orcas, and others. For example, ocean acidification reducing krill could intensify penguin humpback competition, potentially dropping both populations.
Ecologists emphasize decomposers' role in sustaining the chain. Marine bacteria and worms not only clear carcasses, but regenerate nutrients, ensuring ice algae growth, the ecosystem base. That seemingly stable world is more fragile than we think. As life revives through nutrient cycles, Antarctic natural disasters silently prepare another brutal challenge. Antarctic summer, November to March, turns sea ice into a fractured maze. Temperatures rise to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, a rare warmth, melting ice at dizzying speeds, losing thousands of square miles of sea ice yearly. Massive icebergs, miles wide, shatter into fragments, creating sudden open water areas called polynyas. Here, cold, deep currents upwell, bringing seafloor nutrients, nourishing ice algae, and kickstarting the food chain. Krill doubles reproduction. Adelie penguins travel farther to hunt. Humpbacks gather to feast before long winters. But polynyas are deadly hazards. Weddell seal pups drift away when mother icebergs suddenly break. Emperor penguins must march over 31 miles for stable nesting ice. One misstep, a crack opening underfoot, can vanish an entire chick flock instantly. In anomalous years, melt becomes devastating due to climate change. Recent Weddell sea melts have lost vast summer ice areas, pushing species to the brink. Thousands of penguin nests drowned, crab-eater seal populations critically endangered. Flipping icebergs not only test survival, but alter currents, impacting the entire Antarctic food chain. Conversely, blizzards are winter nightmares. June to September. Winds hit 124 miles per hour. Temperatures drop to minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow falls so thick it obscures everything in minutes. Sea ice seals shut, but storms create low pressure, cracking ice into dangerous leads. Temporary open waters refreeze rapidly, forcing species to breathing holes or polynyas for survival. Emperor penguins huddle in thousands, rotating into wind to share warmth, but chicks easily blow away or freeze. Weddell seals maintain breathing holes in storms, scraping ice with teeth non-stop, exhausting themselves. Orcas trap under thick ice, seeking cracks to breathe. One error, a crack refreezing too fast, leads to mass suffocation. Climate change has increased blizzard frequency and intensity. In 2018 and 2023, Antarctica endured historic storms. Thousands of penguin chicks froze. Many orca pods faced starvation. Blizzards not only threaten life, but heighten ice cracking risk, the frozen ocean's most devastating disaster. Ice cracking is Antarctica's greatest threat, especially combined with summer melt. A small crack from wind pressure or currents can spread hundreds of miles in hours. In 2017, the Larsen Sea Crack birthed iceberg A68, nearly 2,247 square miles, one of the largest recorded. These cracks destroy habitats and kill millions.
Adelie penguins and crab-eater seals on ice fall in when cracks suddenly open. Slow-moving Weddell seals have almost no escape. Orcas lose wave attack tactics on breaking ice, forced to open water hunting, doubling energy burn. Underwater, shifting currents push krill farther, starving toothfish and penguins. Ice cracking disrupts Antarctica's carbon cycle. Sea ice reflects 80% of sunlight. When it breaks, oceans absorb more heat, worsening climate change. Cracking consequences last decades, with many polynyas unable to refreeze due to warming waters. Beyond the three main disasters, ice tsunamis are rare but horrific. When a massive iceberg flips from imbalance, it generates waves up to 33 feet high, spreading miles. Ice tsunamis can sweep away penguin and seal flocks on ice surfaces instantly. Orcas can dive deep to evade, but surface seals and penguins have no chance. Melting creates temporary open waters, polynyas, boosting local krill. Overall, however, melting reduces ice algae habitat, threatening main krill sources. Orcas lack large prey, shift to penguins, dropping populations 30%. Blizzards seal breathing holes, exhausting Weddell seals, making them easier orca prey. But thick ice hides toothfish, krill explodes, depleting ice algae, cracking shatters habitats. Penguins migrate, krill shifts, humpbacks starve, CO2, absorption drops, accelerating melt. Climate change is disrupting the Antarctic food chain. Rising ocean temperatures and melting sea ice reduce ice algae, impacting krill and primary consumers. This decline pressures penguins, seals, and orcas, unbalancing the ecosystem. Scientists predict without timely action, Antarctica could hit a tipping point by 2050 when marine ecosystems can no longer sustain biodiversity. But we are not powerless. We can act, and action must start now. Marine protected areas are the first and most urgent solution. Currently, only 5% of Antarctic waters are protected. We need to expand to at least 30% by 2030, per UN commitments. Look at the Ross Sea Marine Reserve, established in 2016. Since then, toothfish populations rose 20%. Krill stabilized. Orcas returned to regular hunting, their whistles echoing under ice again. But we need more. Reserves in the Weddell Sea, Antarctic Peninsula, Drake Passage, critical feeding and breeding grounds. In these reserves, all exploitation must be absolutely banned. No krill fishing, no cruise ship anchoring, only permitted scientists. This is the only way to safeguard life's sanctuaries, where a krill swarm can feed thousands of penguins, where an iceberg can home hundreds of seal pups. Every ton of CO2 we emit is a piece of Antarctic ice melted. Sea ice has shrunk 12% in area over the past decade. If global temperatures rise 2 degrees Celsius, 50% of summer ice vanishes by 2050. This means no stable polynyas, no icebergs for seal breeding, no orca hunting tactics. We need stronger climate policies. Nations must commit to 45% emissions cuts by 2030, net zero by 2050. Prioritize renewable energy transitions, wind, solar, tidal. Heavy industries must adopt carbon capture. Every nation, city, individual has a role. Reduce single-use plastics, switch to electric vehicles, plant trees, save energy. Antarctica has no borders. Greenhouse gases from Chinese factories, American cars, Brazilian forest fires all contribute to melting here. Global emissions reduction is not optional. It is obligation. It is our planetary responsibility. Antarctic krill is the foundation of all life here. Hundreds of millions of tons, immense biomass, feed 90% of Antarctic marine animals. But krill fishing is expanding rapidly. In 2023, over 440,000 tons were caught, mostly for animal feed and omega-3 oil. We need sustainable management. The Commission for the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources must cut krill quotas to 50% current levels. Fishing zones must be at least 62 miles from penguin and whale breeding areas. Satellite tracking technology must ensure no vessels enter reserves. Ship noise is an invisible but deadly threat. Orcas use sonar for hunting, communication, calf location. Engine noise from cruises, research vessels, fishing boats all disrupt their acoustic system. A 2022 study showed, with ships within 6 miles, orcas cut hunting efficiency 50%, stress hormones rose 30%. We need strict rules. Cruise ships must follow safe distances, typically 330 to 1,640 feet depending on species, never approaching hunting orcapods. Ships must slow to 10 knots in sensitive seas. Routes must avoid feeding and breeding areas. Noise reduction tech, electric engines, improved propellers must be mandatory. Antarctic tourism grows 15% yearly. We cannot ban it, but must control it. Every tourist must be educated on wildlife approach rules. No touching, no feeding, no noise. Every trip must contribute to conservation funds. Let tourism be nature's ally, not enemy. We cannot protect what we do not understand. Research is the foundation of all conservation. Deploy underwater microphone networks to monitor orca calls, detect early behavior changes from melting. Sample DNA from feces, skin, breath to understand ecotype genetic diversity, predict climate adaptation. Tag orcas, leopard seals, penguins with satellite trackers to map migrations, identify key feeding zones. Expand research stations like Rothera, McMurdo, Palmer, triple Antarctic research funding in the next decade. Every discovery, a new hunting technique, shifted migration route, is data for effective policies. Millions have never seen Antarctica, but they can save it. Invite public to citizen science. Analyze satellite ice melt images, record whale sounds, Report penguins via mobile apps. Bring documentaries, exhibits, Antarctic lessons to schools. Tell children about orca matriarchs leading families through blizzards. Emperor penguins marching 62 miles to protect eggs. Support conservation organizations. World Wildlife Fund, Ocean Conservancy, Antarctic and Southern Ocean Coalition. Every dollar is saved ice, protected krill, one more day of orca whistles. Beneath Antarctic ice, the symphony endures, but it fades. Orca moans grow arrhythmic. Penguin cries thin. Ice cracking quickens as never before. We are the final audience for this masterpiece. We can choose silence and let it end, or rise, act, and let the symphony echo forever. Protect marine reserves, cut emissions, manage fisheries sustainably, keep oceans quiet, research, educate, act. Because Antarctica is not just an ice continent, it is our planet's heart. And if that heart stops, the world grows cold. Act today for orcas, for penguins, for krill, for our future. Like the video, share this life and death journey from Ona Wild, Animal Documentary, and subscribe to join us in more animal documentaries, where nature speaks the stories slowly forgotten.